Hi all and welcome to this World of Tanks light tank guide for heavy tank players. This tutorial will consist of 3 episodes, namely Patience, Intelligence and Support. As the title suggests, I will be comparing the gameplay for light tanks and fast mediums with no armor to the gameplay for big, slow heavy tanks on a number of occasions, but that doesn't mean you have to be a good heavy player tank for this tutorial to be useful to you. You do, however, need to have the basic knowledge of how to play the game, as I'm not going to explain about camo, bushes, angled armor and such. If you know the basics, but you can't get your light tanks to work for you and you usually die early on in the game, then hopefully this tutorial will prove helpful to you. So, patience. Let's start at the beginning of a battle. When you drive a heavy tank, you choose a spot to go to, head over there, hoping you have enough teammates with you, and by the time you get there, the battle has begun and you can drive right in and start fighting. Let's see what happens when you try that approach using a light tank. So we're watching Schaap in his Covenanter moving right up to the middle of the map. He spots a light tank and goes right for it. With the help of his teammates he gets rid of it, but then he gets killed himself. Why? Because he didn't have patience. Schaap's tank was the first tank to be spotted, and so 15 enemy tanks turned their turrets, and anyone who might get a shot in would certainly try to do so. Because Schaap moved forward so fast, he didn't have any backup yet, and since he went straight into enemy lines, rather than diving into cover the moment he spotted him, he found himself a position where the enemy tanks could just shoot him at will. As a light tank driver you need to be patient right from the start of the battle. You're faster than your teammates, and thus once you reach the enemy lines you'll be all on your own. Yes, you can rush to a spotting position to light up targets for your teammates, or see which enemy tanks are headed where, but you simply don't have the armor or the health pool to take on those targets on your own. And that brings me to the second replay. Once you've rushed to get yourself settled into a nice spotting position, you're lighting up those tanks, don't shoot them. Passive scouting is one of the hardest things to do, because all those targets that you could shoot at are right there in front of you and they haven't seen you sitting behind a bush. But the moment you shoot, you get spotted. If you drive backwards far enough to shoot safely through the bush, you'll still lose any camo net value that you had. So be patient when you're scouting passively, and be careful. Now here's another nice example of what happens when you play your light tank as if it's an heavy. My platoon mate is used to driving heavy tanks. He's used to having the armor to bounce a shot or two and the health pool to take some shots before he dies. Gewoon mezelf in his T-71 is trying to spot over this ridgeline on the 1-2 line of Lakeville, and he tries to use the bush up there for cover, but Aru is spotting him anyway. Now there's at least 2 tank destroyers back there and several tanks still unspotted on the enemy team, while we have very little on this flank. So I decide to turn tail and run. I inform my platoon mate, but he's staying to see what he can do. But he's playing a light tank, and before long he peeks over the ridgeline 1 too many times. He gets killed in just 2 shots because he tried to play a light tank heavy style. He didn't have the patience to wait and let them come to him. Same map, different battle. This battle is coming towards an end. It's 3 versus 3 and I saw that IS-3 moving towards the city, so I'm already being careful. I'm just a light tank, I have 92 hit points left, even splash damage from Arty could kill me. My teammates are moving towards the city as well, so I decide to do a quick spotting round down these streets. Oh damn, it's the Rheinmetall. I really can't take him on, he's just too fast. It's the IS-7 and oh my god, did I just bounce a shot from him? I can't go back because the Borsig is right behind me and the IS-7 now is on reload and pulling back. The Rheinmetall got killed. Don't know who did it, but I'm ever so grateful because now I can pull back and away from the IS-7, who should have a shot again soon. Again, I'm a one-shot and in these small streets I really can't circle to get behind him, and I doubt I can pen him from the front. So what do? Well, I wait for my teammates to finish him off instead. The WOT Auf E100 has reached the city and I'm just waiting for him to catch up. I need to have patience because going in alone really means my death. There's no way I can pull off a bounce like that again. That was really lucky. Nothing more. The Waffentrigger decides to confront the IS-7 head on, and there's really nothing I can do to help before he has finished him off. And that's a light tank for you, but at least I'm still alive to help with that last artillery. Now here's another form of patience for you. We're playing on Redshire, it's an encounter game, and the cap's being capped. But look at the time that he needs to cap. He still needs 3 minutes. I know I'm right next to the cap, but really, if I go in now, look at where my team is. I don't have any backup whatsoever. If I go in now, I'll get killed for sure. Still, I'm only about 10 seconds away, so when I need to go into reset, I can do it any time. Now my teammate disagrees with me and wants me to go decap, but I ignore him because I don't want to get killed. Instead I'm waiting patiently since we still have about 2.5 minutes left and my team is breaking through steadily on the other flank. Even with 2 tanks on the cap, they still have more than a minute left before the base is fully capped. So I'm just sitting back, shooting at whatever I can, keeping an eye on the time for the cap, but otherwise ignoring it.
Enemy armor is damaged. Enemy is hit.
Oh, this is even better. By now the IS-6 has come into a position where he can spot the Cromwell on the cap and decap instead of me. And I can sit behind cover and shoot at their M6 instead. Now they want me to rush towards the cap again, and I'm really getting tired of it, so I'm telling them in chat that there is still time enough, and continue ignoring their requests. I'm worth nothing when I'm dead after all. But I see my heavies are coming towards the cap as well, and I realize that if I go in now, I'll have someone to back me up. Now I can be useful down there, and they still haven't fully capped during all the time that I was camping up on this hill and not spotting them. Basically, I showed the patience to not rush towards my death. As you can see, we decapped well in time, we chased them out of the cap and we ended up winning this match by destroying all enemy vehicles. So hopefully this tutorial helped get my point across. I'm not saying that you should camp at the back of the map, but you have to keep in mind that you're a tank with no armor and no health pool. You have to be patient or you'll die immediately. Spot, see where the enemy is going, then wait for your team to get into position from where they can help you before you use your awesome agility to take out that tank. Then get back into cover, spot some more and wait again for the right opportunity to present itself. That's what a light tank's all about. Now let's watch this sped up replay of Komzo and his Covenanter playing a very patient game which wins them the match, and stay tuned for the next episode of this light tank tutorial for heavy tank players, episode 2 Intelligence, coming soon to YouTube. Thank you for watching and feel free to let me know what you think of this episode.